HARDTALKGrenada.com. You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada via www.hardtalkgrenada.com.
My enemies' walls are bound to crumble, and to the floor their spears will fall. I've been made and sealed with love, but time to battle, I'll find them all. I felt the whips and remember chains, but my sword has been forged by my father's flames. Fight your fears and heal your pain, and victory will be in your name.
I used to be weak, but I'm not weak no more. I found the strength of my ancestors deep down in my African core. I used to be frightened, I'm not afraid no more. The Father blessed me with the heart of a lion and a warrior soul. So no weapon that form against us shall not prevail. And no man that rise against us, that war they shall never win. Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer, conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer, rise up and conquer, conquer them.
Tell them no retreat, no surrender. I shall fight till the end of days. I was born as a Makai warrior, and the Almighty God my blade. Fire burn all Satan carrier. Father loose all shackles and chains. This morning first thing as I wake up, King David turns Sam to the brain. Don't let your courage go down, keep it up. And if your heart rip up and stitch it up, don't let your faith them fall, pick it up. When my cup was empty, God fill it up. Don't take the devil contract, rip it up. And if your bad mind people, you go meet it up. Pass me the Congo drum and let me beat it up. God on my side, me no give it so
no weapon that form against us shall not prevail. No man that rise against us, that war they shall never win. Because I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer, conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer, rise up and conquer, conquer them.
Thank you, Father. I want to say thank you, Lord. You're everything, Father. Thank you.
Father, you alone shall guide me. No man shall lead my path. In the wind I hear your quiet whispers, and you heal my broken heart. Even some of my friends turn enemies, and they pray for right to feel. And remember you gave us your only begotten son, but we gave him the wound of love. Send down your warriors with the hello. They carry down to the end of days. No matter how the devil tries to trick me, unto you my soul I will give. Father, I know this time is coming. I can see the high tide raise. Without you there is no other. Could it be that we the my soul?
No weapon that form against us shall not prevail. No man that rise against us, that war they shall never win. Because I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer, conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer, rise up and conquer, conquer them.
I am a man. I am a champion. I am a warrior. So who are you to tell me that I cannot make? Who are you to tell me that I am not the greatest thing that God ever created?
Good morning, Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada. A very special good morning to those of you joining us on the various radio stations, 97.5 City Sound FM, 89.5 CRFM, 91.9 and 91.5 Real FM Radio, 92.9 Sister Ramp Radio, broadcasting from Hillsborough, Carriacou, and of course, 94.9 We Noise Radio out there in Brooklyn, New York. A very special good morning to those of you joining us on the live video stream, whether it's on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, wherever you're joining us. Good morning to you. And with me in studio this morning, I have none other than my co-host, Mr. Roland Bola. Good morning, Mr. Bola.
Good morning, Ms. Duncan, and a very, very special good morning to our listeners out there. It has been a while since I've said that. It sounds as though I've been on vacation for a couple of months.
Does it?
Only last week, there's a couple of days in last week when we were off, and then for this week so far, Monday, we couldn't do a program, and yesterday was the sitting of the lower house of Parliament, so that is normally carried live. But I've missed you people. It seems to me as though it's months I haven't said hello, good morning, how do you do to everyone out there in Radio Land who are listening to our voices at this time, and of course to the very, very special ones who always tune in and always make a contribution, and even when they didn't do it live on air would meet me from time to time and said, well, that last program, whatever they like, what they dislike, what they think we should do, we're always grateful for your comments. We are always grateful for you telling us where you think we can improve and what we can do better. So a wonderful and happy Wednesday morning to you. Some people on some stations call it what? Retro Wednesday, meaning they're going back.
Oh, really?
Back in time Wednesday, midweek. Yeah, Wednesdays are normally nostalgic. It's a time when people look back. It's the middle of what is to come the weekend and what has just gone the weekend, isn't it? Yeah, the weekend gone and the weekend coming. You're in the middle somewhere there. So you're looking forward to great things and you're probably reminiscing some of the good things that had happened the weekend before. But be that as it may, let's continue with our program. Let's talk about the issues that confront and affect us as a people, the issues that should be front and center in whatever we do and say, and how do we continue to propel forward as our country strive to get out of the economic depression that it is in, and of course as a people, how do we deal with the pandemic, COVID-19?
Absolutely. And since it's been a while since we've heard and also spoken to you, and there has been much going on, what we're going to do is we're going to open the lines very early, Mr. Bola, give people an opportunity to call in, to share with us, to contribute to the ongoing conversations that we are going to have, and just have general good conversation, because we haven't heard from you guys in quite some time. Now, I do want to share with the general public a press release that was sent by the Ministry of Health through the Government Information Service that speaks to Grenada recording 3 new cases of COVID-19. And of course, I'll read it to you. It's quite long, but there's a lot in that we can take away from. But we do have our first caller. So before we go into reading it, let's just take this first call. Good morning, Miss Jacob.
Yes, Auntie.
How are you?
Oh, dear.
Ms. Jacob, you're extremely low this morning. You either need to put the phone a little closer to you, or there might be something about your phone this morning. We're not hearing you clear at all. Yeah.
You hearing me now?
A little better. It's a little better than it was before.
Right. What I really call to ask. I want all you to think, because we really want the vaccine. So I want all you to come and visit the health center to see if we could bring it there, the secondary school in West Hall.
Okay.
Because they say they're doing secondary schools.
Okay.
I heard they talk about they trying to see if they could.
What I can tell you though is that we do not have the schedule here with us. I know they will be going around the islands. In fact, from yesterday, I think, up until Friday, they are in Grenville, in the Lux Cinema in Grenville, from 9 in the morning to 2 in the day. And I rather suspect that they will be coming to St. David's at some time. But what we can promise you is we'll try to reach the PR gentleman within that ministry, Keville, and most times he listens to our program. And if he is listening and there is a prepared schedule, maybe he can call at some time, Keville, if you're out there and if you're hearing us and you have a schedule, is there one, if there is one prepared as to where the team will be at different times. Some people are requesting that, so you can always give us a call and share that with us. But we'll endeavor to get that for you, Miss Jacob, and try to let you know as soon as we have the information.
Yes, I really want
yes,
to take
we'll do that. We don't have any schedule with us, so we can't tell you when now, but maybe after the program, if Kevin doesn't call, we'll try to reach him or someone else at the ministry and find out when they would be coming St. David's Way and where they would be. And of course, we know your number, we know how to find you. We'll let you know.
Yes.
Great. So continue to have a good day. We just start, so we will keep in touch.
I love you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a nice one. Yep. So you were about to read that letter, that press release or press statement, whatever they refer to it as. I think it's a statement more than a
Yes, it is, and it speaks to Grenada having 3 new cases of COVID. And we have a caller on the line. I want to give the callers an opportunity to speak.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Duncan. Good morning,
Hi, good
Mr.
morning.
Muller.
Hi, morning, sir.
How everything, man?
We're okay for now.
Yeah, Mr. Duncan, Mr. Muller, I am willing to take the vaccine.
The vaccine. But just hold one moment for me, please. Just 1 second. Mr. Duncan, is everything okay with our volumes?
I'm not too sure, you know.
We're just hearing the callers very, very low. I'm hearing you, but you're low. So I don't know if it is your phone or if it's and a similar thing happened to the previous caller. So if you put the phone a little closer to you and talk up a little more, we might hear you a little louder while we check to see if our equipment in here is not faulting us a little bit.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, you are a little bit better now.
Yeah, I say I am willing to take the vaccine.
Yes.
And I encourage each and every Grenadian to take it. Because no, we're clamoring for the borders to open and for things to come back to normal. But things could only come back to normal if each and every one of us, we Grenadians, took the vaccine. Because see, if some take and some don't take, we think it will never come back to normal. So I'm encouraging people for the safety of you, your family, and the village where you live in. Take the vaccine to protect your family, protect your neighbor, your friend, and everyone. Because yes, things hard, but for things to come back, I'm going to come back to normal. And for development of more projects to come, and for people to get together, to go to the beach, we need to take the vaccine. Because some take it and some are taking it, we're still going to remain in the same situation. So I clamor for we to take it.
Yeah.
Because I never hear that the people taking the vaccine die from taking the vaccine. Yes, some people die after taking the vaccine because of other ailments that they had. So I want to see it to Grenadians, let us take it. And if you want the country to come back to normalcy, each and every one of us has to take it. Some can take and some don't take it for things to come back to normal. So, Mr. Bola, you all have a wonderful God bless you.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate your comments.
All right, thank you. All right, so callers, just give us a minute. Let us, and I know we opened the line so that you guys would have an opportunity to speak with us, but I just want to quickly read this press release because it is going to guide our conversation for today. And it reads, Grenada has recorded 3 new imported cases of COVID-19. Confirmation of the imported cases comes 3 weeks after the country's last active case of what was medically cleared. So we haven't had a case since 3 weeks? And
Medically
that's a very good milestone. The Ministry of Health confirmed Tuesday that the new cases are females, 2 minors, and a 36-year-old who traveled together from the United States. They arrived aboard the jet JetBlue flight on February 27. As required, all inbound passengers, they were tested within 72 hours of departure, the results of which were negative. However, on arrival in Grenada, as is also required, they were tested again, and those tests were positives. Health officials are concerned that the new cases could be one of the new variants, and as such, the samples have been sent to the Caribbean Public Health Agency, or as we know it, CARFA, for testing. These results would take up to 2 weeks. The returning nationals were approved for home quarantine prior to arrival based on the inclusion of minors and are being monitored. The 51 other passengers from last Saturday's JetBlue flight are in quarantine and will be tested in 5 days or on day 5. In keeping with the Grenada COVID-19 protocols, the daily COVID-19 dashboard reveals that at present there are 226 inbound travelers who are at various stages in quarantine. The three new cases bring to 151 the total number of cases recorded in Grenada since 2020. Of the number, 73 were imported. A total of 22,381 PCR tests have been conducted, and as of today, 4,650 people have received the first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine.
4,000 plus.
4,000.
And you have a persistent caller
on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, and how are you doing?
We are fine. How are you?
I'm good as cook food.
Not all cook food that good, mister. You must know that. But good morning to you anyway. I'm glad to know that you're good.
Okay. Everything good?
Everything is okay with us down here.
That's very nice.
Yes.
Sunny up here, man.
Good, and a lot of people up there locked in. There's someone on the live there who said I'm locked in from Carriacou.
Yes.
A lot of people. Cynthia, is that Cynthia? Cynthia.
Telling a lot of people.
A lot of people listen and we say, hello, Carriacou, how do you do? We also including P.T. Matnick too.
That's very nice, eh?
Yeah? I could sing Parang, you know. You didn't know that? Yes, sir.
Sunday coming will be my birthday.
This Sunday coming?
This Sunday, right there.
Whoa. Yeah, trouble.
So you could come up.
Yeah, worries.
I'm killing a cattle.
Oh, Lord, I prefer a bull.
A bull, a cattle and 2 pigs.
Kill a bull.
Yeah, one of them.
Yes. You know, I like sauce.
But you will come?
We have Friday coming, so next week supposed to be. This Sunday, that is your birthday?
This Sunday.
Right. Next week, Friday, supposed to be.
So why you wanting it dumpling or green fig?
Here what I does like. I want a little piece of meat with the pistol and the thing. Some skin.
Okay.
And we cook that with a little bit of split peas.
Okay.
Just
so they want you separate part?
Yeah, just make sauce. You don't must have nothing else in it.
I know. I would fix you up to suit, man.
Yeah, man. And I want to drink that. I could take it in a bowl or a bowl. It don't matter.
Well, when you finish, you use man.
Well, no, I want to be man twice.
That's right. Right.
Yes, I want to be man. But everything else is good with you, sir. Happy birthday in advance. We'll have to see how we put something together for Mr. Mills. It's his birthday, and we need to treat you right.
Miss Duncan.
Hi.
Good morning. So I think you could. People say I want to beg, but that means I'll get a substitute.
What substitute?
Good personality program. Listen to me, I just put that myself for the program.
You want a substitute for what?
When I wake up in the morning, I don't think what to say for us.
Okay.
I don't say, whoa, yeah, going on the program today. What I'll talk about?
When you're talking, you're keeping us alive. Today we have a lot of things we want to talk about, Mr. Mills.
That would be very
Yeah, we want to talk about vaccine. We want to talk about the new cases. We want to talk about how.
I know when a little, which part of the body they give you the vaccine. I know when a little, they'll bend me down to take it.
They used to give you in your what they call your posterior. That's the proper word for it.
Well,
We don't use that other word though.
Bottom.
Bottom.
Your posterior.
Yeah, posterior.
Go posterior.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
thank
posterior.
you for that.
They say the front part is the anterior, the back part is the posterior.
The front part is what?
Anterior.
What you tying up, Mr. Mills?
No, I'm not tying up Mr. Mills' head.
Anterior.
Anterior and posterior.
I go tell somebody that man
Behind and in front.
anterior.
Yeah, you could tell somebody, move your anterior from in front of me or move your posterior.
Oh. Let's not tell a lady me anterior are working all right.
Oh, no, Mr. Mills, don't go there.
Go there.
We need that for the doctor.
Oh, it's okay, I'm here and your partner.
You and I are good, eh? So let me good at all, not today. But I'm giving you on your arm. This one, you're getting it on your arm.
This one you're getting it on your arm?
On your arm, yes.
And your liver going fleshly after?
No, I mean, I got my first dose already, my first shot, because it's 2 you have to get, 6 weeks apart.
Okay.
And I'm telling you the truth.
So they're coming and give you to go and meet them?
Well, I knew that was in Carriacou.
In his case, maybe he would have to find out.
We'll have to find
if
out
they
when
would
next day we'll
come
be
to
back
him.
in Carriacou. And, we'll ask our good friend from the ministry for some more information on Carriacou. I know.
Ladies coming to where?
Who coming to?
Ladies.
Yeah, man.
So the ladies have to dip the cotton in the...
The ladies that dipping everything and giving you everything. I tell you, she give me a juke. I don't feel it, I force them ladies stand there nice. Thank you, nurse. We had to thank them nurses.
I didn't feel it either.
No, don't give me because she might give me the same thing.
Well, I wanted to give you nice and easy. Yeah. When I did prepared myself to get the thing here and a whole lot piece of cotton here for me. I say, cotton. She say, I finished already.
Oh, God. Well, I want mine now.
I don't know if they're in Carriacou right away, but we will find out. Because the word last week was last week. A day in last week, they went up for a couple of days. I don't know how much people in particular went out or where they were, but what we need to do is to find out when next they will be in Carriacou. Because only, was it yesterday or sometime? They received another dose, 17,000 plus.
17,000 plus?
Yes, so there are vaccines on the island. So for those who are saying, oh, well, Grenada won't get vaccine until 2022, nobody am bothering with Grenada.
Well, maybe we in 2022 and we just don't know,
Well, for some people, they advance, they're moving ahead. And so far, from what they had received before, over 4,000 people have been vaccinated already.
Okay.
Right? Island-wide. So that number will grow, and there is expectation of more and more coming in. Because I know from what the government plan is, they would like to honor before the end of the year, do at least 60% of the population.
Okay.
If everybody in Grenada would take the vaccine, that would be even better.
Okay.
But
I have to ask you one little question.
Please do.
I know people have put hot water and cow skin and shave it and put it to pressure cook, right?
Yes, you can dip it in the hot water, scrape the skin off, but even before you put it to pressure cook and you scrape it from the hot water, you need to put it over the flames.
Over the flames?
Yes, to you have an old time word they used to use, Carriacou. You must know that in Carriacou. Try to parfumer.
Kusume, man.
Well, yeah, kusume and yeah, parfumer. Kusume is when you're cooking it and you put it on low fire. You say, leave it like kusume.
Okay.
Parfumer now is when you put it over flames, like over the fire for whatever little hair and thing that you didn't scrape out properly to burn. You burn it out, you parfume it. But you kusume it after you cook it down. And you say, it's almost ready. Let's just kusume for a little bit.
Mr. Bola does give a little riddle. Somebody take my own thing while I was going coming back and want to give me it. I see why you say you're feeding me back with my own food, right?
Not like a fella, no, they say he steal a man fall and he go and sell it back for him.
Yeah. You see by in truth line is UIS say that's in truth way.
Yeah. they used to call the fella Gigi. He died now, so he can't put me in code for calling him any good name.
You take the fall and you go and sell it back for him.
Yeah, well, but even before he sell it back to the owner, he sell it for 3 other people,
Oh, I know that it says Sparrow that he thief a man drum and he sell it 3 times.
Yes.
Because when he come in the man, she say, put it downstairs.
Yes.
And she put it downstairs, but he go back the knife and the night and
Yeah, he take it and he sell it to someone else.
Right, and when he take it again, she say, put it downstairs. Yeah, and so he going.
Yeah, sell it
He
over.
do it 3 times, eh?
Right.
One drum 3 times.
Yes, man. So, as we say, Mr. Mills, thanks for calling. Happy birthday in advance. We'll see what we can do for you. And we'll try to get that information as to what is happening with Carriacou, when next. And in a case like yours, that people that are kind of housebound, whether or not they will take the information and go visit them at home and give them the shot.
I know.
Right? So we do that and we'll let you know.
Thank you for your advance, Brother Bola.
You have a blessed and wonderful day. And all the people in Carriacou and PT Martinique, PM, I know you all had a...
Tell them good morning.
Yeah, man, good morning to you. You had a sad time just last week because I know the mother of our leader from Majesty's opposition, Brother Clement, got buried sometime last week.
Yes.
And I know next week you're going to have another sad day, a day of mourning, because I think it's next Friday, if I'm not mistaken, that Brother Nimrod would be finally...
When they're sending him down?
I think it's next Friday. That's what I heard.
Next week Friday, so they're sending him to Carriacou, Grenada?
Yes, Carriacou. Carriacou is where he will
Well,
be. Yes.
I'll be there, and if we could view him by...
I don't know. I don't have much details on that, but I know it's next week. So, take care. Continue to pray. Keep the faith, and we'll keep in touch.
Have a nice day, my
Have
brother.
a nice one. Bye now. Take care of
One
yourself, Mr. Mills, and happy birthday. Yes. So, can we move back to your letter that your why am I saying letter?
Press release.
Press release.
I don't
Well, it's
know.
a letter, really, you know. It's on a paper, written on a paper. What is a letter? Something you write on paper and send to someone to read.
That's a letter?
I don't know.
I don't think that's the full definition of a letter. Mr.
What's the full definition of a letter?
I could pull it up for you, but it definitely is that. You could write anything on paper and send it to somebody.
Well, something that makes sense because it has to be in sentences. They say sentences are strings of words that make sense.
Right.
And sentences make a paragraph. And many paragraphs put together could be, what they call that, a passage? Or a letter? Or a story?
Mr. Bola.
No, no, let's get that correct. What the bright people who does be on Google and where, what is the description for a letter?
It depends, huh? A written, typed, or printed communication, especially one sent in an envelope by mail or messenger.
Typed or written?
Or printed, yes.
Or printed?
Communication.
Communication. And what did we get from the ministry? Wasn't it
Communication.
a communication?
You could say letter.
And it was typed?
Yes.
So I am not wrong. Maybe I'm not correct.
But
because you prefer I say a press release.
Press release, yes.
But I'm not wrong to say it's a letter.
No.
There we go. There we go. You win again. But anyway, now the press release spoke to the fact that the country has just recorded an additional 3 new cases.
Mm-hmm. One adult at 36 years old.
Right.
And
2 minors.
Mm-hmm. They
did
all
not
travel together.
They did not give the ages of the minors, but they are little children as far as we understand it.
Well, under the age of 16, I think is considered, in this case, a minor. I'm not sure what they're considering a minor in the case of COVID.
I don't know.
And what the qualifications are for home quarantine.
Different things have different connotations or definitions depending on the situation that you are in. But the sticking point here for me is this has happened 3 weeks. We have found that out 3 weeks. Or we have found 3 additional cases 3 weeks after we were totally cleared, medically so, of having any active cases. Now, it is not surprising because as long as there continue to be the movement of people forward and backward, in and out of the country, there's an expectation that from time to time, and that is why one has to give serious commendation to the Ministry of Health and of course the frontline workers who continue despite the fact that we hear some of our nationals saying, and remember it's some, saying, oh, well, there is no COVID, so why all the protocols? Why are we continuing to do this? Why do we encourage people to continue to wear masks? Why we still want people to hand sanitize and wash and keep your distance and don't congregate in large crowds and so? The why is because we are medically cleared from time to time of not having a case does not mean that there cannot be a case or cases, right? There may be people, as we have said very early when we found out, that are asymptomatic. There are people who may be carrying the virus, who may be infected with the virus, but not showing the signs because they are asymptomatic, right? So let us be careful. Let us not drop our guards. Let us not pretend that we don't know the purpose or purposes for asking people to continue to follow the protocols. And then we hear this argument sometimes from some people. Oh, well, we have it in Grenada, so why we close the border? Why we letting people come in? Why we this, why we that? But these are the same people that are making demands on government from time to time to provide more of this, provide more of that, help the needy, help the vulnerable, give the increase, do this, do that. Where will the funding come from? 50% or more of all of the revenue that the government of Grenada collects is referred to as what is called border taxes.
Right.
Yes? They are taxations that are collected from the movements of goods and people in and out of your border. So when you close the border, it means that you close off the possibilities of getting any
Collecting that revenue.
collection of revenue. Right? But it is the revenue that runs the economy, that runs the government system.
It's the revenue that is going to make the 4% possible.
It is the revenue. So here we are wanting, as we say in local terms, eating our cake and wanting it. So we want the freedom, as my foreparents would have said, to gallivant around the country. And everybody in Grenada know what gallivant means. Go where we want, do what we want, lime and party, have a good time, because Grenadians don't have COVID. So don't let nobody else come in, don't bring in nobody, stop all aircraft from coming in, stop all vessels, just Grenada and Grenadians. Good, we're safe, we're free. But the roads have to be repaired. Salaries have to be paid at the end of the month. The government need to continue to pay for the COVID vaccine and so much other medication. Because remember, all other illnesses didn't go on vacation because COVID is here. You know. People still come down with cancer. And people still have to be rushed to the hospital because they are hypertensive or they are diabetic and they did not take the best care. Or they have a cut. Or they have to do surgery to remove the stones from the bladder, or some lady have some problem with her reproductive organs or uterus or something and has to get an operation, and you still need all of the medication, the skills, the equipment, the operating room and everything else to ensure that these things can happen. So these things did not take a vacation. They didn't stop happening because COVID come around and it's demanding more attention and more finances from government. So government has to be able now, in an acrobatic manner, to be jumping and twisting and turning and making sure that they smooth all corners and give everybody a touch. So when we call and we say, close down the border, don't open, let Grenadians enjoy Grenada, how do you then get the resources? How do you continue to raise the revenue? And then on the other hand, you're calling for increasing this and increasing that. And the government is telling lie when they said, well, let us just defer the 4 for a while, push it back later, the 4% that we have to give the public servants. Not that we may give, we have to, because the government know that there is a signed agreement. That it is something that they have already made a commitment for. And they're asking people to say, see with us at the moment. Because while we did not close the border to lock off the opportunity to get a little revenue, what is coming in is still far below what we normally will get or what we expect to get. So give us a little time. Let us be able to increase the intake, and then we will implement. So I'm making all those points to say that everything is connected one way or the other.
Absolutely.
It's not one extreme or the next. Close down or open. You know? Eat or don't eat. Sleep or don't sleep. No. It's a combination of everything. And one has to find a medium of balance. The government has to play a balancing act, understanding that every single Grenadian is dependent upon the government to get the right and appropriate service that they need. So it's not just the health sector or just infrastructure or just the labor movement. Every single area, the environment, government has to be concerned about as well. And so we as a people have to be conscious-minded enough to understand what is happening in our island and what is happening in our region and the world over. Because Grenada doesn't stand alone with this problem. In fact, what we may want to say we stand alone, because I think in the sub-region, we are doing far better than many of our friendly neighboring countries. It is not a boast, it is a fact. And it is so because many of our people have adhered to the protocols, have lived up to expectations, and of course, our frontline workers, not just the medical staff, but the police officers and immigration and dock and airport workers and everyone else, custom officers who have had to play a part, including the media in some instances, helping to spread that information and to bring awareness to people, have been doing a tremendously good job. And for that reason, we have been able to keep COVID at bay. We have been able to control, to a certain extent, the numbers of infected persons. And when they become infected, we know how to quarantine them and to get them to a better state of health. Yeah. So thanks to all those who have been doing it. But now is not the time for us as a people to say, well, we have done well, so now we can fool around. You know? We don't have to wear masks anymore. You know, why the government still have a curfew? It is because the government is still very concerned that it doesn't take long. It takes just one case. It takes just one slip up. It takes just one person to go through the crack. It takes just one person to break that barrier, to breach what has been set up. And overnight, we can hear of hundreds and thousands of people, because we can have a community spread and all of that. And before you know it, before the announcement is made, it's spreading across the country like wildfire.
Right.
So government has a responsibility to ensure that the protocols are being followed until there is an all clear from the World Health Organization. Yeah. But we as the citizenry also have a responsibility, and a greater responsibility than the government, to ensure that we secure ourselves and our families. Make sure that every time we leave in home, we take our mask, our face mask. Make sure that when we enter into the public premise, that we use our hand sanitizers and we sanitize in and out of different public buildings. That when we're on the buses, we ask the driver and the other and the other passengers, please wear your mask. That we sanitize, that we stay away from large crowd, that we speak to our children and encourage them to do the correct things. All of that is what will help us to remain safe, because all of that is what we have been doing over time. Albeit that there are a few lawbreakers, a few people who feel that they are above the law and they don't have to follow protocols. Albeit that there are a few people who think that all of these measures are senseless. But it is because of those same senseless measures for those who believe it is senseless, we are in a better place today. To remain in that place, someone once said to me, going up the ladder you might get a free pass. It's easy. But staying up on the ladder is what's difficult, because everyone is trying to either pull you down, kick you down, or shake the ladder down for you to end up back on the ground.
Yep.
Yes? So we are at a place where we have to fight hard to survive, to stay ahead of time, to stay ahead of this war game with COVID-19. Get vaccinated. There's no law that says you have to, but let your common senses tell you. The world over, people are taking it. 1 million plus every day in the United States, and they have just launched another one, Johnson & Johnson. So there are 3 different types that they're using in the US now.
Yes, Johnson & Johnson, they said it's more effective for the variants, the other variants.
The other variants is of it. And I understand it is one dose you have to take, right? So what that is telling us is, as time goes by, we may see many different ones coming out again.
Yeah.
Because the manufacturers, the scientists, the researchers are able to look at what is presently available, where there may be some little areas that they can improve and make it more applicable and acceptable by the human being, and it will only get better and better as time goes by.
But also there are a couple interviews, and that's why I always advise people to stay abreast with what is happening in the media. Read different opinions on different things. There was 2 interviews. One happened, I believe, on Monday. I could be wrong about the day. But it had to do with, and one happened yesterday, I believe, on Mikey Live, where there was a doctor from the St. George's University who spoke to Perspectives on Monday, and Mikey yesterday had an interview with a doctor from the St. George's University who spoke on the concern that individuals have with the vaccination. I don't want to speak too much on it because I will find it and I will play it for us to hear, because it was very informative, and I hope that the people who had to hear it, the people with the doubts, they actually got an opportunity to listen to what he had to say as it relates to the vaccination. Here it is, and I'm going to play it quickly for us, and it would give us a better idea, because some of us have this belief that the vaccine was made too fast, that is too quick, so it doesn't make sense. How could they find this so fast, yet they can't find vaccines for other things that have been around longer, and all of these things? But for those of us who follow the news and follow what happened in the world, we would remember SARS. It didn't reach our doorsteps, obviously, so we didn't have to worry too much about it. And then there was MERS, which are all similar viruses to, actually family viruses to COVID-19. So I want to play this so that the general public can have an opportunity to hear what he had to say as it relates to this what would we call it, a conspiracy theory?
Well, that's how some people refer to it,
that the vaccine was just made too quick for their liking.
But just on that point only, I mean, technology, information, the speed at which information moves around, the speed at which we do things compared to many years ago. And I asked the question, in the 60s, 50s, 60s, even early 70s, when our foreparents and many of our distant relatives traveled to England in those days, it took them 3 months to get there because they went by the banana boat. Well, by a boat. The boat that normally came to carry banana, so we commonly call it the banana boat. Today it takes a couple of hours. Improvement, increase in technology and knowledge by men that they can now fly an aircraft within hours. You can get there, right? And you have aircraft that they are called sonic aircraft that travel at the speed of what? Light or sound, so quickly that by the time you hear the sound, it's already gone from your sight. So I'm just equating that to the fact that if it took 10 years before for a vaccine, no, I can accept that if some people have a bit of concern that they probably should have done a lot more testing before, just to find what may be some of the side effects and so on if they're critical, which was done. Some testing was done, and it is because they are convinced that the products and the end products that come out doesn't have that much side effects and wouldn't affect the human being in a very bad way. I think they came forward with it.
Well, I'll tell you this, Mr. Bola, from my experience of taking the vaccine and your experience, we can speak about our own experiences. Mine was very different from yours because
of course it was.
The following day I had a low-grade fever, some fatigue, some joint pain and so on, a slight headache. That was my experience. You were up and about bouncing like nobody's business.
I'm bouncing low. Tangla from my area, you know.
Yeah.
Former Calypsonian, he's gone to the great beyond.
Yeah, and I didn't turn into an animal. You didn't turn into an animal. None of us.
Well, I'm already an animal, so the vaccine can't make me into that anymore. And with vaccine or not, I listen to Tangla music and I bounce.
And you're bouncing low. But none of us got severely ill.
No,
you know,
I have not heard of anyone out of the 4,000 plus people in Grenada that has taken the vaccine so far who have gotten seriously ill as a result.
Absolutely. Just close to us, Barbados has vaccinated over 40,000 of its people already.
Good going.
Look at that. You know, and we here complaining, waiting to see, well, I want to see when my neighbor take it, what will happen to him. You know, and as we said last week, it would really be a shame for you to sit there waiting for somebody else to take the vaccine and then catch COVID and get severely ill as a result of it. But let's listen to what the doctor had to say about this conspiracy theory that is carried by some as it relates to the quick timing. We think it's a quick timing, but he explains why it seems so fast.
Okay.
And, people are citing and stating, well, COVID-19, it seems like it was a quick process. How are vaccines developed? And talk to us about, how the length of time these current vaccines on the market and address the concerns specifically that folks have.
Well, let's recognize that we did develop the vaccine very quickly, but there are really two factors that allowed us to do that. The first was we didn't start from square zero. It turns out that we've had past epidemics with other types of coronaviruses. You may recall the SARS virus. It never came to Grenada, but it was a worldwide epidemic of a different coronavirus. And then in the Middle East, there was a second, if you will, mini epidemic with what was called MERS. And more recently, you may recall the worldwide scare around Ebola, which is not a coronavirus, but is also an animal virus that made the species jump to humans. And in the process of trying to protect ourselves against those, if you will, smaller epidemics, we developed a lot of novel vaccine technology. And so when COVID-19 came along, we were already about halfway to creating a vaccine against that virus, in part because we had already had a head start with these other similar diseases. Now, the other reason, of course, that it happens so fast is when you basically get virtually all the scientists in the world and almost an unlimited supply of money, you'd be amazed how fast science can move. So the combination of those two things resulted not just in one vaccine, but there are about 7 vaccines now on the world's market. So, that's amazingly productive use of about a year of vaccine development. Now, having said that, interestingly, all of the normal steps and safeguards that are used in developing vaccines have all been used for these. It's just that they were able to start about halfway down the process because of their past history. And with virtually unlimited funds, they were able to mobilize and organize double-blind placebo-controlled trials early on. So actually, the COVID-19 vaccines have probably we've had more experience with those vaccines, granted in a short period of time, than we've had with many of the newer vaccines that have been released in the last 10 years. So remember, there's now probably over 100,000 people that have been involved in double-blinded studies. That means that neither the people nor the doctors given the shots knew whether they were getting the actual vaccine or sugar water. And they followed those people very closely for months. And so we have that information. And by now, really, literally tens of millions of people have received these vaccines. So the good news is these vaccines are incredibly safe. Actually, among the safest vaccines that we use, and they're highly effective. So, the good news is, they did get them rather quickly, but they're very good vaccines, both from the major concerns people have. They're very safe and they work. So, I'm grateful that when our scientists put their minds to it, they can get this job done quickly.
All right, so that pretty much explains Mr. Bola. And as he said, for those who joined in after he started talking, that there were two very important factors that led to the quick development of the vaccine. One of those important factors being that they didn't start from ground zero. They had already started work on similar novel viruses like
many years before.
Many years before, SARS and MERS, which are also coronaviruses. Family within that family. So they had already started the groundwork. So they didn't start from ground zero. But in addition to that, they had all of the scientists around the world. And as he said, a lot of funding was pushed into this. So, and as he said, you can imagine having all of the scientists and all of the available funding to do what you're supposed to do. You must get it done. Because everyone has the common interest and the common goal at heart, which is getting the world economy back up and running and also saving lives, So I don't know why or what it would take to convince some. Maybe some would never be convinced.
Maybe so.
And that is okay because everybody is entitled to their own beliefs. However, and I think it's the Minister of Health that put it best, keep your opinion to yourself.
I think it was the Prime Minister.
If you don't want to take the vaccine, you don't have to take the vaccine. That is up to you.
I will encourage you to take it. I'm not keeping my opinion. I'm encouraging every Grenadian to take it. Right? I want to encourage us.
Because you have good reasoning and grounding to back up why you are encouraging.
Yes.
But if you're not taking the vaccine, because I find the vaccine they created too fast. They explained to you why. They gave you the logical reasoning, the scientific reasoning, the economical reasoning behind why it was created fast. But in the back of your mind, you're still in trust. Then that is your personal opinion. Keep that to yourself. If it is a matter where you can find some scientific study relevant to your opinion that says people should not because XYZ and statistics have shown and we have statistical data that backs it up, then fine, share that with us. Let us be the ones to say, okay, well, we have this amount of information, we have that amount of information. Let me go and speak now to my healthcare provider, which is really what we're supposed to be doing in the first place. Speaking to the people who know, and then let them tell me what I am supposed to do or what is best for me, Do that. Do that. Oh, God. I've heard some of the weirdest stories, Mr. Bola, as it relates to the vaccination, And up to this day, it's been how long since I've had my vaccine? 2 weeks?
I don't know when you had
2
your
weeks.
vaccine, Ms.
We
Duncan.
had a vaccine on the same day.
Oh, right. You sounded as though it was I gave you. When did I have my vaccine, Mr. Bola? Like I pushed the needle? Not me that pushed the needle. Anyway, it so happens that all of a sudden, there's so much experts worldwide, including Grenada, who are the repository of all knowledge about vaccines. So they have all the reasons to give us. They don't know what's in the vaccine. They don't know how it's made. They don't know how it started. They don't know anything about that, but they can tell us what's in it and what it's going to do to us and all kind of thing. And I'm yet to see. And I know I won't see, and not because God will blind me, but because nothing like what they're claiming would ever happen. Yes? Since we're born in this country, even before we know ourselves, we're getting vaccine for all kind of things. for polio, for yellow fever, for
Chicken
rubella, for chicken pox, for measles, for mumps, I don't think that I can finish check the amount of vaccines that are available for various illnesses the world over. They offer different things, so I presume that what's in them may vary. The active ingredient may vary from one to the next. But they are vaccines. We never worried about how they was made. Some of us don't even know the lifespan it took to make some of the vaccines that we took already. We don't ever know. We never research. We never even try with all the knowledge we have now to say, boy, wait now, I'm taking vaccination for tetanus. How long did they take to make that vaccine? Was it a week, a month, a year, or 10 years? No, we don't even care.
Or how many different variants of the vaccine are there?
We don't care.
We don't care.
But because information is now at our fingertips and we have the ability to share our thoughts to the world, we don't care the effect it has on the world.
Yeah.
We don't care how it makes some people feel. We'll share it anyway because we have become very selfish as a people.
Yep.
All we care about is what gratifies us.
It's true.
No one else. What poor Miss Valerie down the road, 72 years of age, she don't know how to use her cell phone or how to go on the computer. But she hear what you said when you was on the radio. So she starts saying, hey, me, I ain't taking the vaccine, Miss Valerie. Why you ain't taking it? Well, I hear a man on the radio, I hear the lady on the radio say, if I take it, I will come like a monkey. I mean, come on. Are we serious?
Yeah.
Do we ever really check the effect that we were? And I know we had a very similar conversation to that when COVID-19 just started, you know.
Yes.
When people were up and about with all kind of rumors about this, that, and where it came from, and who bring it, and what the government should and shouldn't do, and all those things. And we spoke right here on this program saying that, listen, not because we have the strength. Somebody said that to me the last time, and I seem to like it. They said to me, not because you have the strength to move a huge boulder means that you have to move the boulder.
Yeah.
There must be good reason for us doing whatever we do. Hats off again to the government of Grenada, Minister of Health and the ministry and the entire team that has been working with them to ensure that we continue to get shipment after shipment of vaccines coming in. And I say to the people who are out there getting and wanting to get, continue to go. Listen to your radio stations, not just Hard Talk, because they have sent out the information that they would be at the Look Cinema in Grenville from yesterday.
From 9 to 2.
9 to 2 in the afternoon, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I so presume that for every other area that they will go to, they are going to make the announcements. So you need to listen and listen to what is true and be able to go, make yourself available, put yourself in that place where you too can receive your vaccine to protect yourself and your family, and encourage your relatives, encourage your friends, encourage your family members, encourage the people in your neighborhood, the people at your workplace. Encourage them to go and do it instead of gossiping about all of the hearsays, you know. And we have these very clever people, because they have good sounding voice. They make all these clips and they put it out on Facebook and wherever. So you listen to them. Where is their grounding? Where did they get a scientific background from? What is their degree in science?
And the funny thing is, they would go and take the vaccine in secret and not say to the people who they've misled, obviously, listen, I take the vaccine and nothing can happen to me.
But why would people want to do that? Again, as I said, selfishness.
Selfishness.
We have become a very selfish people. You know, we have been known for ages by people the world over as being very hospitable. As Grenadians being nice people, as we say. All of us in Grenada are NNP. Nice people. Every single one of us, even though if you're voting for NDC, you're NNP. Nice people. Let's continue to be nice. We have a call.
A caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Duncan. Good morning, Mr. Bola.
Good morning, sir.
I'm just calling to say thanks to the government for seeking the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique interest in terms of mobilizing the vaccine. We are very grateful for it, not ungrateful. But I want only to find a vaccine for some people moist. When only do find that, let me know. It won't be for my moist, but some people bad moist.
Okay. We'll suddenly have the Minister of Health contact you. Oh, he's gone, boy. He's gone. He ain't stay for long, boy. But I mean, it sounds like a joke, eh? But you know, some of us really does allow our mouths to flow like a river, but not with clean water. You know, we allow our mouths to flow like a river, but it does not bring clear and clean water. We say things, and some of us are conscious. I believe there are a few unconscious ones. I believe there are a few people who just like themselves and they feel good about themselves by talking and posting things. But I also believe that there are many people very conscious of what they're doing, what they're saying, and the effect that it will have on others. But they do it anyway because they don't care.
Because they don't care. And
they have become very selfish.
Yes, their own selfish agenda in mind. You know, it's what I want to accomplish by doing this. I don't care how many toes I have to mash or feet I have to cut off along the way. Those are just casualties of war. That's what they call it, casualties of war. I hope to never be anybody's casualty of war.
Is that how they call it?
Casualties of war, yes.
Collateral damage.
Collateral damage.
Yes. Happens along the way. It was not intended for you, but you
just happen to be there. But we also have to say as well a very big thank you to the government of India, who has made it very they've made it possible for us in the region here and a lot of other developing countries as well to have access to vaccination. You know, equitable access. And I think that was under the COVAX facility that they had put together. I remember when they started speaking about this COVAX facility, people were saying, they put in thing in place for them to say we had to take the vaccine. It's mandatory for us to take it without reading and understanding really what the facility was about, you know. And it was just a tool that was put in place so that when vaccines become available, small developing countries like us in the region here would have equitable access to vaccinations for our people, and for that we are thankful.
Very much so. As we come to know that India has grown leaps and bounds in technology and as a result have some of the larger facilities that produce a lot of medicine, you know, not just the vaccine, but they are high in that area of manufacturing. Maybe not owning, but owning, being the owners of a lot of the brands. But they have the workforce, they have the technology, they have the people, they have the speed and everything. So they're utilizing the abundance of labor and skill to manufacture a lot of medication and so on. We're grateful, and the region should be grateful because there's so many of us in the region that are receiving the vaccine as a result of their being so kind. So people have to know sometimes when we talk, when we say things, what effect. I think it's the Bible spoke about the power of the tongue. So even in biblical days, the power of the tongue was being spoken about, and we must understand that our tongues are very powerful organs or very powerful units of our body, and we must use it for the right purposes, for the correct reasons. We must use it to help to build but not break, to help to mold the people and bring them in a better place. Because what's your alternative? What is the alternative that you give when you say to people, don't take the vaccine, because the vaccine is good, the vaccine is good. What is the alternative? How can that individual protect themselves if not by taking the vaccine? What are you offering them as an alternative?
Absolutely.
I'd like to hear.
Absolutely.
Because we have become expert on knowing what is good and what is not good. So tell us all that is good that everyone can take. And of course, I know things like we're continuing to eat proper food to build our immune system. And so, yes, that is good. But that is also what the vaccine helps to do, to boost your immune system, to have you at a place and at a stage that you can fight better. Your body, your system will be able to fight better the attack of the coronavirus.
I think it was Dr. Francis Martin, who, by the way, we will be having an interview with tomorrow, if everything goes well, because I know he's been rather busy going around the island, doing helping with the vaccination and so on. And also, Mr. Bowler, before I forget, I want to say a very special thank you to the Minister of Health, and I'll tell you why I'm saying that. I was at Radisson on 3 separate occasions last week. And on all 3 of those occasions, the Minister of Health was there. Back he jacket, and he's there with his workers, the nurses and whoever other officials were there from the ministry. He was there as well with them, helping, giving them support. And I must say that is very commendable. Because, there are those who believe that, the Minister of Health, okay, just giving out orders and we just have to follow and these kind of things. No, he was there. And I must say, I was very impressed. And that really touched me. Because he didn't have to be there. It wasn't a must for him.
Where else could he have been?
Doing other health related matters on the country, dealing with that.
Well, that's the most important health matter for him now.
But oh God, he was there, and from what I understand, he was there every single day.
Well, of course he needs to
He was
check.
there every single day.
Well, kudos to you, Minister, and kudos to the government and all and the entire cabinet for continuing to support. Because to have done that well and to have gotten that far, there must have been unanimous support from the rest of cabinet. Other members of cabinet must be prepared and have said, well, let me allow a little bit of the resources that should go into this area or that area under the ministry, which is under my care, go now towards increasing the health budget.
Absolutely. We have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Sister Duncan.
Good morning, Miss Jacob.
How do you do?
I am fine.
Yes, Brother Bola.
Hi, and good morning again.
How you do again?
I'm well, thank.
Oh, God, you see a piece of word, oh, God. Yesterday, when the minister said he wouldn't be there, the minister still, he said he wouldn't be there in what they had yesterday.
Parliament?
Parliament. He said he wouldn't be there for too long. Make a little speech and he gone. Because he said he had to go and see about his workers and them in Renaissance. They were giving the injection and
yes.
He go help them.
Yes.
I to say he didn't know to go in because he had us to be in Parliament.
Yes.
Or he said, you're staying in Parliament. Although Parliament is good for him too, but the health is better.
Yes.
So he said what he had to say and he gone.
That's very
So,
good.
Brother, I just say a good piece of word.
Yes, well, we have to give credit where credit is due.
Interested.
Yes.
For the minister, he didn't want to go. He could have said he go in there and go somewhere else, but no.
Yeah.
So, you all carry on your good work.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you all. And they tell me they will come for me next week.
Next week. Okay, right. As soon as we have more information, like we tell you, we will let you know. So, stay tuned and stay good, stay healthy.
Come to you when I get my injection, I go boogie down.
Yeah, we go boog slow, man. Don't worry. Okay, Sister Jacob, be good.
God bless you all.
Nice.
Bye-bye.
All right. And Mr. Bola, while you're speaking there, I'm trying to locate. There was a video that was circulated from the post cabinet a few weeks ago that spoke to it was Dr. Francis Martin. He was speaking about the vaccination itself. I think this is it here, you know. There we go. I found it. He spoke about the vaccination and what it really does. What it actually,
I did hear that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to just quickly play it so those listening could have a better idea of how vaccines work and what it really does and what this vaccination in particular seeks to do. So let me just make sure everything else is clear so we don't have any double sound coming in. And we could listen to this here.
What does the vaccine do? To put it in a very simple way, the vaccine tricks your body into thinking that the COVID-19 virus and the protein spikes that cause the disease is in your body. It tricks your body into thinking that the virus is in your body so that your body's immune system can start fighting it or mounting a response to it as we speak. And more importantly, it tells your body, it gives your immune system memory to remember that virus should that virus attack your body sometimes in the future. That is basically how vaccines work. They go into your cells, they allow your cells to code for the protein spikes, and you start building an antibody for that virus. Now, as to the question as to whether or not it prevents you from getting the disease, what happens is the vaccine will not prevent the virus from being lodged in your nostrils or your pharynx or your sinuses or your lungs. It doesn't prevent the virus from coming in there. What it does prevent is the virus causing you to be sick. So in other words, someone who's vaccinated can actually still carry the virus with them. For this reason, it is important that you still quarantine because you may be able to pass that virus on to somebody else. I must say, however, that this particular matter is currently being studied. The WHO and other scientists are currently looking into see whether or not the amount of virus that you hold on you still, whether or not that is sufficient to cause someone else to become ill with the virus. When that data comes out, we will be able to better tell the need for quarantine or not. But until such time, the status quo remains.
And let me go further to say what PS is referring to. There's currently a study going on in the UK in which individuals who have received their second dose of AstraZeneca have volunteered and are receiving the infection of COVID-19 so that the scientists can study the effects. The preliminary information, now remember, this is preliminary and it still has to go through what's referred to as peer review. So it's put out there for all of the other scientists to look at, criticize or comment or agree on. The preliminary information is showing that the virus dies much faster in somebody who's vaccinated. What is trying to be determined is how much faster. So with respect to the quarantine, if somebody is vaccinated, will they have to spend the same time of quarantine, or will they have to spend half the time of quarantine, or will they have to spend no quarantine? That is what is being determined now. But most definitely what has already been determined and qualified is that being vaccinated prevents you from having severe symptoms of the disease, which means once you are vaccinated, the disease is no longer life-threatening to you. And that is the first initiative. That is what we, Grenada, and the rest of the world, every single country in the world is racing to do for their citizens, to ensure that you vaccinate enough of your citizens, so enough of your citizens are have their lives no longer threatened by the vaccine, by the virus, so that we can get back to normal. As we proceed with that, from the UK, from Israel, from the US, information is now beginning to flow because enough people are vaccinated in those countries as to how quickly the virus dies in a vaccinated person.
All right. And I think that was one of the best, because I did share this with some of my friends in different islands who also had reservations, didn't really understand, and they did think that was a very good explanation. I must say I do agree. And I want to quickly say this. As I told my friend the other day, I said to him, you can get COVID antibodies two ways, right? You can get it by taking the vaccine. Your body develops these antibodies that are going to fight the virus in the event that you do get it. Or you can get the virus and get the antibodies. The only difference in these two things are, when I take the vaccine, I know that I'm not playing Russian roulette with my life. Because you can get COVID, and there is a chance, a possibility of you either getting a serious, lifelong disease as a result of COVID, or you can die. Or you are asymptomatic and you live. That is Russian roulette. It is which card you pull at the time. Basically, it's trying to say, well, I'm going to take my chances and catch COVID and hope not to die. No, and I mean it, but that is as serious as it is. Whereas you can take the vaccine, know that your body will develop the antibodies, know that there will be side effects, because all vaccinations carry side effects, but not for all people. And you know you catch your COVID, and you're good to go. I don't want to play this kind of Russian roulette with my life, Mr. Bola.
Well, you probably are not as adventurous as some of us may be. Some of us like to play it. You know, there was a game we used to play as children with marbles. Mm-hmm. It was called Nearest the Line. You ever played that game?
Nope.
You don't know it? Mm-mm. No. So you'll have to draw two lines. Mm-hmm. They are distance apart. One line you would have to stand there, or the group of you who are playing, with your marbles. And you will throw your marble. And who gets nearest to the line, the other line that you draw, is who would win the pieces of marbles that are available for the take. It was called Nearest the Line. I know in my village we played it as a youngster. I played it. And so some people do that with life as well. They go nearest the line. They would want to see how close they can get to that danger. Before then, they want to make a hue and cry and, you know, carry on and make demands to get what is available for life protection. When it's voluntary and available, they don't want it because there is not a great demand, there is not a fight. So they prefer to fight. So they play nearest the line with their life. They draw that line in the sand and they say, until I get to that point, nothing bothers, nothing matters. Yes? Yeah. So, I mean, adventurous people, I hope that there are very few of those people in Grenada.
I feel there is something to be adventurous about.
I learned from a friend I was speaking with some time ago that some of the people whom he once heard saying that they won't take the vaccine, that they are speaking slightly different now. They're saying they're waiting to see. You know? Give me a little more time. Let me wait and see. And I think that probably means, let me see what effect it has on people who are taking it. That's what I will think that means. And then I will take it based on what I see happen. So there's this now wait and see approach or attitude. But I don't know that you want to take too much chances with your life, as you say. Russian roulette, or whatever else you may want to call it. We need to be extremely careful.
Because I'll tell you this, in the U.S. right now, if you speak to some of your family members in the U.S., they have to apply to get vaccinated. Yes. And we are saying, oh, well, I go wait until, and so on. Because of the COVAX facility that was put in place, we were fortunate enough to get vaccinations in this first round that became available to us. We don't know what the next few months will look like. We don't know what the year is going to look like. We don't know when we will have that kind of access to vaccinations, even if we pay for it. We just don't know. So to say, okay, well, it's available but I will wait until it's available again. But we don't know when it's going to be available again. We know it's available now. We know that for sure because of COVAX. It was put in place so that we can have that access. So to say to the people, well, it don't matter if they put the facility in place for us to take it and I will wait until later down. I mean, that doesn't make any logical sense to me.
Some people can wait because they probably have nothing to worry about. We don't know in terms of not just the capacity, but the availability of whatever it is that they're putting into the vaccines. Excuse me. Maybe down the line, and I hope it never happens, if the main ingredient suddenly becomes a little hard to find, a little scarce. So the numbers that are being created on a daily basis, reduces. How do you then deal with that? That you want it, now you have to get it and it's not available.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful.
We have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Okay. Well, actually, protocol has already been established.
Yes.
Remember me, I called before and I asked seeking information about the guy who lost whose crops was destroyed.
Yes, you said I lost his crop. Yes,
so I was seeking information about the person.
Yes. We did not get that information.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, we're hearing you.
We're hearing you. You received the information about the person?
Yeah, you told me when I called back, you will be in a position to give me the person name.
Oh, we said, that's what I was saying to him, that we have not.
I didn't contact with him.
No, because we checked with the Ministry of Agriculture and they were saying that we may have to get that from the police because they too did not have a record of who the farmer was.
Hello?
Yeah, I could hardly hear you.
I don't know. We're hearing you very clear when you speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you very clear.
You know what happened? When I called that overseas number, the call is showing New York, If I call that overseas line here, it's showing New York.
Oh, but you're not calling the overseas line now. You're calling the direct line now, not the overseas line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you're hearing us now.
I was asking for the information for the gentleman whose crop was destroyed many weeks ago. But
right, and are you hearing me clearly?
Just very, very low.
Okay. Well, we have not received the information as yet because the Ministry of Agriculture is actually saying that we should speak with someone at the Royal Grenada Police Force because they would have a record of it. The Ministry of Agriculture does not have a record of who that farmer is.
Okay.
So we would have to speak with the authorities and see if we can get it, or maybe by Friday. Try us by Friday again and let's see. But I do have your number, so we can contact you.
Can you? I'm hearing you very, very low.
Yeah, we
seem to have some.
We have your number, so we will call you once we have the information available.
Okay, you will call me.
Yes.
Okay, that's nice. So at the same time, do I have more time to speak?
Yes, go ahead.
How is things in Grenada? How is about the COVID-19 and how is about the economy and how is things day by day?
Well, we've been doing very well just thus far. We've only from March last year to this year had 151 cases of COVID. We've had 4,650 people vaccinated thus far, and the numbers are growing daily because vaccination continues. And the economy, well, we are doing what we can with the resources that we have.
Okay, it's wonderful to hear.
Yes.
But actually, when I called beforehand, when I called the previous time I called, there are many people who recognize me and call me up here, So let them know I'm not sending any money. It's the money I'm sending for the guy is not my money.
Right.
Right? So many people call me and say, I recognize your voice and you blah, blah, blah. But if I'm saying anything, it's not from my pocket. So let them know that.
Okay.
If they listen to me,
yeah,
I want them to know that.
Right.
The money is not coming from my pocket.
Right.
So don't let them think that I'm sending money for somebody else and I'm not sending money for them.
Yeah. All right.
You know?
Yes. Well,
yeah,
thank you
so. The only thing I can say about this, the COVID-19 is that personally, I have benefited in a big way, because for the past year now, I have not been going to work, but I am on full pay. I've been stand down for almost a year now on full pay.
Wow.
So I have been benefited a lot from this COVID-19, you know.
Okay.
Has he gotten his vaccine yet? Have you received your vaccine as yet?
Well, for me personally, right, I think I'm not sick. I'm healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sick. Why would I take the vaccine?
To make you healthier?
And I don't intend to get sick.
Well, you see, the thing is, we are thinking I am healthy, so why would I take the vaccine? COVID makes you sick. And I think that's the point that people are missing. COVID makes you sick. The vaccine is to help you from getting sick as a result of COVID. So because you are healthy doesn't guarantee that if you catch COVID, you'll remain healthy. Because I know there are a lot of people who thought, I'm healthy, I'm strong, I'll be able to handle COVID, and we were very surprised.
Indeed, they are healthy. Indeed, I am healthy. Right? I'm feeling, since COVID, I get more stronger. I get more mentally and physically. It hasn't done me nothing.
Okay. All right. Well, as we say, vaccination is a personal decision. So if you believe in what you are saying, then that is up to, it's a personal decision. Nobody is being forced.
Well, okay.
Good. So we need to
start wrapping up. But thank you so much for your call, and we will contact you once we have the information available.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Good.
Yeah. We should be able to take a few more calls. So just to let those listening know, if you want to contribute to the conversation, the number to call is 440-7377 if you're calling locally. If you're in the diaspora and you want to give us a call, it's 347-329-3101. You can also send us a message via WhatsApp, or you can send us a message on the live video stream.
Go back.
There are a few comments.
There was something about playing.
Yes, someone was asking us to play a video, but when I looked at the video, it was the one that we already played of the doctor at SU speaking about the vaccination.
Oh, okay, good, right. That's what.
So we've already played that. So for those of you who want to contribute, you can by giving us a call. We have a comment on the WhatsApp that says, "Good morning, Ms. Duncan and Mr. Bola. Wonderful informative program. I was watching the news and I was surprised that there are remarks made about the rise in the legal fees, and it's the same explanation being given about the 4% to teachers and all else. It's not possible because of the corona situation. I really wish that God will pour some wisdom on us and us to understand that it is what it is we really want." And that message brought up a very important point, because some of the legal operatives that are also political operatives took to social media and spoke about the rise in there was some rise in processing fees, legal fees. And they said, "Oh, well, it's COVID, so why would you raise the prices in this?" But yet those were the same individuals who were saying to government, "Oh, well, don't use COVID as an excuse to not pay the 4%. So on one hand, they understand, but when it directly affects them, they have an excuse. Oh, it's COVID.
Well, there's a good old saying that sometimes, we don't always learn the lessons from them, but it says, you don't condemn a man until you walk a mile in his shoe. Not a footstep, not 10 feet, not even 100 feet, but they say a mile. Mm-hmm. Because you may put that shoe on, and for the first half a mile, it's very comfortable and easy to walk with. But as you continue, it starts squeezing your toes and the leather start rubbing against your heels, and it becomes very painful and uncomfortable. So we need to be careful about what we do and what we say and how we say it and why do we say it. So, yeah, a lot of our people, they do and they say things because it suits them. And we have always said that here, always find out the why. Why did he do that? Why did he say that? Was it because it was the sensible thing to do? Or was it because he or she wanted to prove a point or to get something across? Does it serve what they want to do better? And so we have to be careful. So when people come down rough and rugged on the government about they're not doing this, they're not doing that, don't do this, don't say that. Like, I hear some people say the government could pay the money. Okay. Well, how? How can the government pay the money? Tell us.
What statistical data do you have to prove that the government has the resources and will continue and be able to sustain it?
That's the important thing. Pay it and sustain it.
Yeah. They have an idea of where the money is coming from. And I said to an individual the other day that was making a comment, government does get money to fix roads and to do things. They could use that money because nothing can happen in COVID time. And I had to explain that, first of all, nobody in borrowing, no government in any country in the region monies for recurrent expenses. It's like going to a bank and saying to them, listen, my light bill due in January, but I don't have the money to pay. So I need you to give me some money to pay for my light bill in January. The first thing they're going to ask you, are you going to be able to pay your light bill in February, March, April, May, June, and July? Because you must be able to sustain. So when you borrow money to pay recurrent expenses in January, what happened to February? Will you have to borrow again?
I know some people just don't understand the rudiments of government and what happens, and maybe it is not them to be blamed, but the government to a certain extent, because for so long, so many things has happened without proper explanation, and so it never gave a good understanding to people. A lot of us are not well grounded by no fault of ours, because some of us, we prefer to go onto Facebook and juke things and say things rather than research information and have a thorough understanding of the operations. Because for those who are pushing for political supremacy and encouraging a lot of people to do some of the things they're doing, when given an opportunity, they can't do better than this government is doing here, because that has been proven before. History is on our side to prove and to show us that they have never been able to do anything better than what the NNP government is doing. But of course, it suits them well to condemn and to encourage people to do and say foolishness, like a lot of other things. And that brings to mind something that happened over the weekend. You had the National Democratic Congress and the hierarchy of that party calling on people to come out in St. David's, and just to be exact, last Sunday to protest. And they said that they're not protesting against the hotel or the building of the hotel. They're protesting for the environment because so much thing is happening. Now, I ask myself, if you are not against the development, which, by the way, at the moment is employing over 50 people from the area, and there will be an increase in the number of people when the construction increases by the month of September to well over 100 people. And the possibility upon completion for the permanent staff, including all who they would need there, to be upwards of 300, right? So you're talking about economic growth, you're talking about people getting livelihoods, and these are the direct impacts. We are not talking yet the indirect. So the farmers and the taximen and other people and the vendors who will stick around for the clientele at the hotel to patronize a roast corn or whatever it is they're doing. These are not yet included into the numbers and the mix. So if you believe, or you have seen, or you have an understanding that there is something about that project environmentally that is not correct, did you communicate with the developers? Did you go to the authority that has a responsibility to ensure that environmentally the people do what they're supposed to do and say, look, these are my observations. What can you do about it? Or can we have a forum Can we invite the environmentalists and the unit that is responsible for that, as well as the developers, and bring the people out and let us explain and let us answer these questions? Or you go to them and ask them some questions and then share it with the people? No. What you wanted to do was to put on a show, because it suits you politically to do that, and then turn around and say, oh, well, we're happy for the project, we're not against the project. Well, if you're not against it, why the first thing you want to do is have a demonstration?
But also I want to because, and that is something that peeves me, And I know it's going to touch a lot of spots for some people. But where were these so-called environmentalists and activists when the developer had to pull 30 truckloads of garbage out of the same environment that they are now talking about they want to save and protect? Where were they? And that is my biggest that is my biggest concern, Mr. Bola. 30, and we're not talking about the trees and stuff that were cut down.
No, garbage. Dump,
filth, waste.
Field that people have dumped.
Trucks of garbage were pulled out of that same environment that they're talking. Oh, we want to preserve and save. And what about the ecosystem? And what about the animals in the area? Even though the developer himself said, we are going to revamp the entire system. We are going to replant the mangrove in a more effective way. We are going to put trees back into that same ecosystem. We're going to put benches and plant and plant fruit trees and all of that. So not just the people coming to the hotel, but also the people in the area who now may want to use that facility, because it is now a facility that they can use, not just as a dump site, but to go and sit and enjoy time with their family and so on. Where were these same individuals when it was covered in trees and bush and people still found a way to put garbage there? Where were these people? And this is my biggest problem, Mr.
Well, that's not the biggest problem in having Grenada or with these people. The problem is that anytime something constructive is being done, they always try to find a way and a reason to disturb it. We had a similar situation when Port Louis. Look at it there now. Up till now, I have not seen one dead crab or a fish on the ground because of the establishment. In fact, what I see is clean, pristine water. A vast different from the dump and old mud and garbage that was around there prior or before it was cleaned up. But we heard a hue and a cry about Grenada heritage and land and this, that, and the other. I'm not saying people should not protect what belongs to us. We have a right to, but we leave it lying there disgracefully for years. And as soon as something is being done, we jump up in arms. Oh, we're not against what is happening, but the environment. Well, let's be concerned about the environment every day and every time and everywhere.
Yep.
Because right in our backyard, we continue to dump and do all kind of things without lifting a finger or saying a word. But it's only when development starts, it becomes a concern.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
So I'm saying, let's be equitable across the board. If we seriously want to do something to help, let's use the correct channels. And a demonstration is not an improper channel, but it becomes improper when you did nothing else and you jump straight to that.
Yeah.
It tells me that you have another motive, that there is some ulterior motive.
Yeah.
Now, if you have gone through the ropes and you have done what you should do, and you have noticed and the authorities, and they did not take heed of your complaints and your concerns, then you go ahead and you do what you do, then I say hats off to you.
So my question, Mr. Bola, because I thought about this long and hard, And I look and I'm listening to what you are saying, And my thing is, the salt pond has already been cleared. The trees in the area already been cleared. It's ready to begin development now. What go in and protest at this point gonna do? Will it plant the trees back? Will the trees automatically reappear as soon as they go and protest? Will the mangrove be back in the same spot? Will everything go in reverse and the trucks will just come back and dump the 30 truckloads of garbage that was there? No. And you see, that is a problem we have as a people. We have developed this disgusting behavior where we feel everything has to be...
Some people. Not every people.
Where we feel that everything has to be a protest. I must get a placard and I must go and I must make a lot of noise and invite the media. And sometimes the media must learn to say no and let people wallow in their stupidness for a while.
But you can't tell the media to say no. The media are looking for news.
Sometimes. But that is not news.
What do you mean that is not news?
If, Mr. Bowler, time has passed and they are noticing, okay, the developer has said, I am going to do X, Y, and Z. You notice time pass, X do, but he gone back to A and B and C. You didn't find Y and Z do at all. And you sit down with him and you said, okay, I am a concerned citizen, or I am coming as a representative from this group or so on. And we have noticed that these are the things that you have outlined that you would do to protect that ecosystem, but that has not been done. Where are we with that development? Are you going to continue? Are we going to see it done, or is it not going to be done anymore? And then, if nothing at all after all of the channels have gone through has been done, then we say, okay, well, we go in and protest. But my goodness, the thing done do already. The man done say what he planned to do. But yet for all, they gone and protest. For what?
Oh gosh, it's to suit their own... I mean, you think they're really protesting because of the environment?
Of course not. We have a caller on the line. Oh shit, we seem to have lost that caller.
And then, you know, if that is what you're so interested in, and you thought, well, all right, as you said, the area is cleared, the developers had promised that they would replant mangrove trees and what have you. Why not go to them and say, hey, we have a grave concern. You have already cleared, but the land is bare for a while now. How soon are you going to start? Can we join you in replanting? Are you ready with the plans? Or how long from now? Can we help mobilize a team of people?
They don't offer no support. They gone up there and stand up on the land with their placards as if the trees gonna just reappear.
But you never know. Sometimes these people have supreme powers. I mean, sometimes you just... you say things without thinking. Next thing, the people have supreme powers.
And I'm not against these groups, these activists that feel, okay, well, the ecosystem is important and we must preserve it.
And it is important.
It is.
Very important.
But you cannot want to jump in the water after it done cover with ice. You can't want to do that.
And if you want a cold bath?
Well, it has to be that you're headed for. You cannot protest an action that has already been completed. You cannot. You can simply say, okay, well, you said you're going to do X, Y, and Z. We have offered our assistance. We have spoken to you about it. X amount of time has passed in which you could have completed it. We have not seen it completed. What is your next step? If the developer decides he does not want to speak to you, or no authority decides they want to speak to you, but you want your voice to be heard, fine, protest. It is your right. But you can't want to protest. What are you protesting?
I can't answer that question.
And that is the biggest... We are not teaching our children that are looking along that there are different ways to resolve conflicting ideas. We're not teaching them that. We're teaching them that in order to get your way, make noise, throw a tantrum, and people going to start listening to you.
Well, you will draw attention for sure, but I don't know if people would listen, because those who are listening would recognize that we are running out of time.
We are.
And we have come to the end of the program. But I just thought I had to touch that piece because of what we have been saying before.
Yeah.
That people sometimes just do things not for the reasons that they tell you, but to achieve other things.
Absolutely.
And we have to be mindful of that and not let ourselves be used as, you know, as the flow mat to get into the door. But that we stand up and you know, we have to stand up for what is ours. We have to stand up for what we believe in and what we think is right. But as you've correctly said, Mr. Duncan, the channel to getting that doesn't always mean confrontation and confusion. There are other means, there are other ways, there are other things that we can do first and foremost. And then when they fail, we get to that alternative piece. My friends, it was really a pleasure being here with you today. We hope that we can join, well, not me tomorrow, please God, because there are two activities that I have to attend tomorrow. Forgive me for that. But whatever it is you are engaging, I wish you the very best. I hope that good health continues to remain with you, that you would enjoy the rest of Wednesday, Retro Wednesday, as they say. Back in times a little bit, just nostalgic, a little wine and dine. The moon is still out, sit out in the veranda, go out into the yard.
But like you have plans.
And I always live my life with plans, Sorry if you don't. And, reminisce a little bit, but of course, look forward to what tomorrow will bring or may bring for you and the rest of the week. Thank you so much for listening to Hard Talk today.
All right, guys, we have come to the end of our program. And as we say here every day, in whatever you say and whatever you do, be safe and be secure. We always want to be talking with you. We do not ever want to be talking about you. So please do enjoy the remainder of your day and stay tuned for the National Report. It's been wonderful being with you guys.
Grenada records 3 new imported cases of COVID-19. Details to this story and more in the National Report. Welcome back. With the details to the news for Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021, I am Sherry Ann Noel. Grenada has recorded 3 new imported cases of COVID-19. Confirmation of the imported cases comes 3 weeks after the country's last active case were medically cleared. The Ministry of Health confirmed Tuesday that the new cases are all females, including 2 minors and a 36-year-old who traveled together from the United States. They arrived aboard the JetBlue flight on February 27th. As required for all inbound passengers, they were tested within 72 hours of the departure, the results for which were negative. However, on arrival in Grenada, as is also required, they were tested again and these tests were positive. Health officials are concerned that the new cases could be one of the new variants, and as such, the samples have been sent to the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARFA, for testing. These results will take up to 2 weeks. The returning nationals were approved for home quarantine prior to arrival based on the inclusion of minors and are being monitored. The 51 other passengers from the last Saturday's JetBlue flight are in quarantine and will be tested on day 5, in keeping with Grenada's COVID-19 protocols. The daily COVID-19 dashboard reveals that at present there are 226 inbound travelers who are at various stages of quarantine. The 3 new cases bring to 151 the total number of cases recorded in Grenada since March 2020. Of that number, 73 were imported cases. A total of 22,381 RT-PCR tests have been conducted, and as of today, 4,650 people have received the first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Moving along, Grenada has received its 3rd shipment of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, this time a total of 17,000 doses. On receipt of the vaccines at the Morris Bishop International Airport on Tuesday, Health Minister Honorable Nicholas Steele says this comes graciously from the government and people of India, and in this instance from the allocation for some of the other OECS countries that shared with Grenada. Honorable Steele says the vaccines are administered free, but collectively the OECS islands contributed $250,000 for the transportation of the vaccines from India to the Caribbean. Honorable Steele says, as OECS, we are all in this together, and Grenada will give back to the countries when our direct shipment arrives.
The 17,000 has come from St. Vincent, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, and Antigua. And we will be returning to each of them. And if they wish for more, if their next shipment is a bit delayed or so, we will all continue to work together.
The health minister again encourages all Grenadians to come forward and be vaccinated, saying once there are vaccines in stock, no one will be turned away.
We continue to target individuals over the age of 65, comorbidities and frontline, but at this point in time as well, what we're doing is we're prioritizing them. But other Grenadian citizens who would like to have, same way I extended the invitation to many of you and all media workers to come forward. The invitation is there to all bank, all supermarkets, all any entity where you work at, where you would be interacting with. And if also you do feel that you really want to take it now as well, you come forward. We're not turning anyone away, but we're making sure that our over 65, persons with comorbidities and frontline team don't have to wait in line for it.
Individuals with comorbidities are also encouraged to come forward and be vaccinated.
Asthma or any other underlying conditions, those would be what we refer to as comorbidities. Those would be things that could put you at further jeopardy, would become more possibly life-threatening if you were to get COVID-19. So most definitely I'd like to see you there as soon as possible at any of our centers.
The national vaccination program continues at the Deluxe Cinema Grenville on March 3rd between the hours of 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. With Grenada now in possession of 17,000 additional AstraZeneca vaccines, Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell is encouraging Grenadians to utilize the opportunity to protect themselves by getting vaccinated. During a meeting of the House of Representatives on Tuesday, Dr. Mitchell, while acknowledging people's right to choose freely, appealed for the nation to choose wisely on the matter.
They would be advising going to community centers, and asking people to come in. No one will forcing anybody to, as the minister pointed out, but we are impressing on our brothers and sisters to protect themselves. You don't want to wait to get sick before you look at dealing and protecting yourself against the virus, because the verdict is still out there. We don't know how long even the vaccination protects you. We don't know. There are some projections, but it's still, the verdict is still not final. So the point is, let's do what we have to do. And of course, the Cabinet Subcommittee and the Ministry of Health and the COVID Secretariat, they'll be working to enhance the vaccination program throughout the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and P.T. Martin.
While he respects the right of everyone to choose, Minister for Health Honorable Nicholas Steele is encouraging the public to take the AstraZeneca vaccine to prepare for any future eventuality, whether travel for emergency purposes or otherwise. During a meeting of the House of Representatives on Tuesday, Minister Steele appealed to those in leadership to lead by example, which can help to reduce the level of anxiety many are experiencing on the issue. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
Protect yourself and our community from COVID-19. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. If soap and water are not available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with at least 70% alcohol. Use a tissue when blowing your nose, sneezing, or coughing. Immediately discard the tissue properly and wash or sanitize your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Let's do our part to ensure that each and every Grenadian remains healthy. To stay up to date, visit the Government of Grenada's webpage or the Ministry of Health's Facebook page. For more information, contact the Ministry of Health's hotline by calling 53-VIRUS. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by the Ministry of Health.
Welcome back. Grenada continues to reap the benefits of a solid friendship with Cuba, welcoming 16 Cuban doctors on Tuesday who will serve in the areas of oncology, cardiology, and nephrology. They arrived on the island to a warm welcome from Minister for Health Honorable Nicholas Steele and Cuban Ambassador in St. George's, Herrera de la Cara Guerrero. Minister Steele says on the midst of the challenges of COVID-19, the arrival of the medical team will strengthen the sector through their expertise.
They are in varying fields from specialty nursing like nephrology. In oncology, there's a nephrologist here, a cardiologist here, as well as individuals to assist us, lab technicians with the PCR testing, etc., and in the labs in general, medical technicians to help with the repairing of equipment and maintenance of equipment, etc., there at the hospital. And also in pathology, because some of those who were here have completed their tour and they are going back, and a new one is coming in.
The arrival of the doctors comes at a time when Grenada is preparing to welcome its dialysis center. Areas that needs urgent attention can now be addressed.
Cardiology and nephrology in particular has come to us in preparation of the imminent opening of our dialysis center. So we will have a Cuban nephrologist here until we have a Grenadian trained nephrologist who will be here. But in the meantime, we are able to offer that service, the cardiology as well, to make sure that we have a cardiologist on island that will be able to deal with any and all of the complications that we may have, in particular and most importantly, the diagnosis. And similarly, as we move forward, with respect to our lab, our team has been providing yeoman service. They've been working literally 24/7. And as such, we've brought in some individuals to assist them so that they can get some downtime, but also that we can begin to offer the additional services that our brand new lab is able to do now at the General Hospital.
The Cuban ambassador said that her country is pleased to be assisting Grenada. And finally, government's lead negotiator for salary increases says continued industrial action on the part of the Grenada Union of Teachers means that students continue to be affected. Government has proposed a deferral of the 4% wage salary increase due to a significant drop in revenue collection, but it has committed to paying the increase to public sector workers once the fiscal space allows. During a meeting of the House of Representatives on Tuesday, Honorable Oliver Joseph reiterated that it is not in government's best interest to defer payments of the money, as this would signal a return to retroactive payments. Government has reiterated that it is aware of its obligation to honor the collective labor agreement, but it must also ensure that an additional burden is not placed on the country's coffers at a time when the pandemic has necessitated a lot of additional expenditure.
So I hope that good sense will prevail and that we can see an amicable settlement to a matter which, quite frankly, is one that is so simple. We owe you, we accept that. So when I have union leaders saying that legally the government had to pay them, we never dispute that, Mr. Speaker. Everything on the table, we never disputed that. We said we are contractually bound to pay you, and we will pay you. So where is the dispute? And when you pay you, you will get it retroactively. They say we understand that, but still tell us a month when you're going to pay. So I don't know what else to say.
Recognizing the severe economic impact of COVID-19 on the economy, government engaged the unions in 2020 and determined that it would be a challenge to meet the additional recurrent expenditure. The 4% increase will add $13.2 million to the public sector wage bill. During a conciliation meeting with the Labour Commission on February 19th, Minister Joseph suggested that the parties meet at the end of this month to review the country's first quarter performance. And with that story, we come to the end of the National Report for Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Sharian Noel, thanking you for viewing.